Welcome back to the Railiest Reviews. Today's review is focused on Netflix documentary entitled Worst Roommates Ever. And the official synopsis of Worst Roommates Ever is: violent con artists, stone cold killers. These terrifying true stories unveil some of the worst cohabitation experiences one could ever imagine. And before I give up my review, please like the video, subscribe, tell me what I should review next, or just watch it and just keep it moving. So here is my review on this video. And I would say, honestly, after watching this documentary, these 5 episodes, I will never have a roommate because it is better to be safe than sorry. And honestly, I do not want to become a t-shirt or newspaper in the process. So yeah, this entire series was crazy. Some of these stories were just absolutely mind-boggling. And I would say some of the things that I enjoyed about this documentary were the interviews, as all the interviews and all of the episodes were all pretty interesting, as some of them were pretty horrifying with victims or family members of victims talking about their experience with the individual, and just sad, crazy. You could just say all of these interviews were just one big crazy thing because of people just explaining their experience and everything, and just how they just did not know about how this person was just that horrible and evil in a way. Like, I was really blown away by what some of the interviewees were saying about the person of choice that was being talked about. Like, I couldn't believe it. And interviews, though, for the most part was really good, but at the same time mind-boggling and just really sad when you look at things. The stories itself, honestly, all of the stories were really crazy, as this was the first time that I've heard about some of these stories except for episode 2 with Maribel Ramos and Casey Joy. I have heard about that story before, but everything else was just completely brand new to me. The one about the grandma, I was really shocked at how the grandma was just able to just do what she did without anybody really just like having like side eyes, like, what are you doing? Like, the grandma one was really crazy. Casey and Maribel, that one was crazy but extremely sad. All of the stories was just really crazy and just sad because of just how one person could just cause just a whole plethora of just mayhem, trauma, terrorize people in like different aspects. And I don't know, like, it's really crazy. And this documentary just shows you just how sometimes whenever people try to get help, not even the law enforcement would help out the right victims. Like in the final 2 episodes when they were talking about the serial squatter and how basically he knew about all of just like the laws about rent properties and everything else. Like, it was really mind-boggling that he was basically able to get away with squatting at different people's houses for a long time and everything. And I was just really blown away by the stories and just how hectic and how evil some people can truly be. Another thing that I really did like about this documentary was the animation that was included with it, as there was different animation segments in all of the episodes just showcasing the perpetrators and also just what could have possibly happened when it happened, and also just explaining how the perpetrator became the person that they would eventually be known for. Like, the animation, the drawings, they were not bad. I really did enjoy it for what it was. The cinematography, for the most part, it was good. It wasn't anything extremely special. It was pretty good for the most part. And I would say maybe the only things that I did not like about this documentary was the editing, as I felt like the editing for all of the episodes they weren't bad necessarily, but the way that they would edit out people's interviews and just their stories, like, for example, they would just show one person's story, cut it out, and then bring in another person, cut it out, and then just go back to the first person. Like, I thought that the editing in this documentary was a little bit questionable at best. Like, it wasn't bad, but they could have done a better job of how they edit things with the story, to say the least. But out of all, I felt like Worst Roommates Ever was a pretty solid documentary. It just shows you that you just have to be careful with who you decide to have as a roommate wherever you live, because you don't know what people are capable of nowadays. And how I would rate Worst Roommates Ever out of 5 stars. I would give this documentary 4 stars out of 5. So thank you for watching, and until next time, goodbye.